In this video, I'm going to talk about only two functions: present value and the future value. Now, after start with the present value. Now, why you need a present value? I will explain it to you. Suppose after 2 years, you needed in a bank that you for something you needed $10,000 in your bank account on exactly after 2 years from today, and you know what the bank is, the rate of the interest the bank is ready to pay for you for your sum of the money you want have to deposit for 2 years. That would be consistent for 2 years. So depending upon that, so how much amount of money should you put in the bank at the rate of the interest that is available to you for today? Maybe 5%, maybe 7%, depending upon what the bank is ready to pay you for the period. The period may be for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whenever you want that sum to be, and the amount you want that sum to be on that day. That is what exactly I'm telling you. Suppose if you wanted to have a $10,000 in your bank because you wanted to use it for your education, or you wanted it to buy a car, or you wanted to use it for the house, or whatever it was. So how much amount should you deposit it in the bank today at the rate of the interest that is going on? That is what the present value will calculate. Okay, now let's go and look at the formula, what it says first. Okay, it says rate, it has the present value has this, basically this thing. See, whatever in the square bracket is not actually compulsory. You may type it or you may leave it. That's the big good part of the Excel part of it. Okay, rate required the interest rate per period. For example, if you wanted to obtain an automobile loan for 10%, so the rate would be actually divided by the 12 months. As you can see, you would enter the 10% by divided by 12 for each month of rate of interest. That is the rate of the how the rate is calculated. So it will come down to this thing. But it depends upon how the context and how you are using the formula. Okay, now let's see N per require the total number of payments period for annually. For example, if you want to get a 4 car year, okay, now this is what you will be paying. Actually, it is 4 multiplied by 12, that is 48 periods you would be paying. That is the amount of the interest, that is divided by 0.83. 83 would get into the rate, 48 would get into the N per. PMT. Now, PMT, the payment made by each period cannot change over the life. Now, this is something you may leave out or something you may keep it, depending upon how you are going to use the formula. So, basically, it says PMT required, the payment made each period and cannot change over the life of annuity. What it means that the payment that is required to be paid by each period means each month, and it cannot change. So typically PMT includes the principal and the interest, but no other fees like taxes or something like that. No other fees or taxes. Okay, so principal and the interest would be for each month would be put there. For example, a payment of on $10,000  4-year car loan at 12% or 263.33, you would enter a, this is exactly the reverse situation. What the bank is calculating, that what you are going to give it to them if you are borrowing the loan for the period of 10 years at the rate of 10%, and the loan is divided for 12 months. 10% is divided by the 12 for each month, that is coming to the 0.83. Okay, so this is the reverse situation of what I'm doing. Instead of you thinking of putting that, getting that something, you are actually giving it. The bank is actually trying to, you are taking a loan from the bank, and the bank is calculating this thing. Okay, and the thing is that Then you have FP optional, the future value or the cash balance you want to attain after the payment is made. In the future, its assumption is 0. The future value of the loan, for example, is 0, but naturally it will be always be 0. For example, if you wanted to save 50,000 to pay for a special project in 18 years, then 50,000 is a future value. Remember that thing what I was explaining to you, but it is for 18 years, after 18. So what should you actually put in the bank today to get that amount after 18 years? That is $50,000 at the rate of the interest the bank is going to pay you. Okay, now there is one more thing, type optional. This type is 0 or 1 indicates whether when the payment are due. They said 0 is omitted at the end, at the beginning of the period. 1 is for the beginning of the period. Okay, here it is. I will go into the explanation. Let's say here is $300,000 of the amount. Here it's actually I have calculated for 7%. Here I am not breaking it up because I am directly calculating I am not calculating the per month loan. Per month how much? I want to find out what would be the present value if I wanted this amount of $300,000. Okay, at the rate the bank is giving me 7% rate of interest, and it is for 2 years. So what should I deposit in the bank today that I would get this amount $300,000 after 2 years at the rate of 7%? This is what the amount has to be actually deposited. That is what the present value would actually do it for you. As you can see, now it's becoming clearer. Okay, this is what would be the actually $300,000 deposited at the rate of 7%. Remember, the third one is 0 and fourth one is 0. Okay, at the end of the period, because it is at the end of the period, not at the beginning of the period. So at the end of the period we would be getting $300,000 if we deposit this amount today at the rate of 7%, and there it is how is the present value is calculated. Okay, here is the present value, how it is calculated in the formula actually manually, but I would not go into that details actually as such. Here's again another one, a present value at 6.3% for 5 years. Again the same thing. Let me explain it to you. And we are getting, suppose if you wanted $80,000 after 5 years in your account to pay for something, and the bank was trying to give you a 6.3% rate of interest. So what would be the amount you would be putting in the bank? You would be putting 58,941.84 cents, and then this is what you are going to get, $80,000 in the after the 5 years at the rate of 6.3%, and you can use it for whatever purpose you want. Now, how do I verify this is the true? Whether this is actually I have calculated it correctly? There is just a reverse formula for present value. There is known as future value. As you can see, I have used the future value to calculate exactly the same thing here. You should see it up here. You can see it up here, as you will see that this is what the future value is. Okay, so this is what exactly I have done it. I have said the same, I put the same thing, future value 6.3%, okay, for 5 years, and this is what I would be actually getting in the future. Okay, this is the future value, sorry, that would be what I would be getting in the present. Now this is the future value. Suppose if I put this amount today in the bank, what would be the future value after this for 5 years. This is what exactly it is. As you will see, this is 80,000. Suppose I put this amount into the bank today, and I keep it for at a 6.3% rate of interest for 5 years. I will get this amount. This would be the future value of this amount. That is exactly the reverse process of what the present value is doing. Okay, now why do you want the future value of this thing, the money? The future value is used in case if you wanted to find out what you would be getting if you deposit certain amount of money at the rate of certain percentage for certain period of year, what you will get after that year. But in the present value it was reverse. You wanted a certain amount of money in the bank after a certain period of year, and so you wanted to find out how much you should deposit it at the rate of percentage that the bank was paying currently, so that you can reach that place of getting that money there. So that's the big difference between both of them. So here is the future value getting calculated. As you can see, I have put the same amount actually, and it's gone to the $300,000. I've actually done the reverse of the thing. As you will see, I have put this thing back here, and you can see in the future value, and it has gone to the same thing except for the 1 cent or something it is missing. That would actually be rounded off to that thing. So this is what exactly actually is the reverse process, and you can see the future value of $20,000 at the rate of 5% for 5 years would be 25,525.63, and the same thing, as you can see, we will use it in a different manner. Okay, 7.5% for 30 years for 3,000. Okay, and you can get this thing. As you will see, we seeing this is what you get. Maybe wait. Okay, this is compounded interest, calculating the future value of compounded interest of the 5,000 at the rate of 8% per year. Okay, this is the manual formula that you can do it with a calculator. This is all it is about, and this is about 7.5% per year. How much you will get after 30 years. This is what actually is the future value of your amount after 30 years. The future value syntax is, as you can see, what it says is R stands for rate of the interest per period, and per is the total number of the payments per annuity. It is exactly like the same like the present value. Just you have to look into the details if you want to use it. Otherwise, I have made it very clear what it is. As you will see, the 7.5% is the rate of the interest, 30 is the years, or 5 is the years, 0 you can escape it, and then you have a 2,000. Oh, minus 20,000 is that is the sum of the value. You want to find out the future value for it, and this is the 0, and this is what you will get after the 5 years. This is this is how you calculate it manually. I will not go into the details of the manually, but this is how you will get it in the manual. You have to use the mathematical calculator to do it. This is all. That's all. Thank you very much for watching it.